Good day and welcome. This is Commander Ray Ford, Consumer Safety Officer with FDA Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, or CDER, Small Business and Industry Assistance, or SBIA program. Thank you for joining us today. CDER's SBIA's webinars offer a unique opportunity for small business and industry to learn more about the development and regulation of human drug products, current guidances, and new initiatives. Today we'll be presenting a demonstration of product listing in Cedar Direct. This webinar is intended for drug manufacturers, private label distributors, or anyone with the responsibility of creating and submitting drug listing submissions in the required structured product labeling. I need to do that again. Okay. In the required structure, do I need to do the sentence again?
No, yeah, just start at the
All right. This webinar is intended for drug manufacturers, private label distributors, or anyone with the responsibility of creating and submitting drug listing submissions in the required structured product labeling, or SPL, format. It features the Cedar Direct application from FDA Center for Drug Evaluation and Research and takes the viewer through a click-by-click demonstration of how to create and submit a drug product listing. This webinar is posted on www.fda.gov/CDER SBIA under Workshops and Webinars. The presentation will run approximately 30 minutes. Our speaker for today is Launanpui C. Huber. Ms. Huber works as a Technical Information Specialist for EDRLS, or the Electronic Drug Registration and Listing System, with the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, Office of Compliance. As a Technical Information Specialist, she plays a vital role in the development, implementation, and support of Cedar Direct. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Huber.
Thank you and welcome everyone to today's webinar. As many of you have already experienced with submitting structured product labeling or SPL files, the process has not always been easy due to a very high learning curve with submitting SPL files. Well, it is our goal to make your lives easier through the availability of Cedar Direct. This webinar will be divided into 3 sections. In the first section, we will discuss what Cedar Direct is, why we believe you should use Cedar Direct, who our users are, and the forms available in Cedar Direct.
This webinar is intended for drug manufacturers, private label distributors, or anyone with the responsibility of creating and submitting drug listing submissions in the required structured product labeling, or SPL, format. It features the Cedar Direct application from FDA Center for Drug Evaluation and Research and takes the viewer through a click-by-click demonstration of how to create and submit a drug product listing. This webinar is posted on www.fda.gov/CDER SBIA under Workshops and Webinars. The presentation will run approximately 30 minutes. Our speaker for today is Launanpui C. Huber. Ms. Huber works as a Technical Information Specialist for EDRLS, or the Electronic Drug Registration and Listing System, with the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, Office of Compliance. As a Technical Information Specialist, she plays a vital role in the development, implementation, and support of Cedar Direct. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Huber.
Thank you and welcome everyone to today's webinar. As many of you have already experienced with submitting structured product labeling or SPL files, the process has not always been easy due to a very high learning curve with submitting SPL files. Well, it is our goal to make your lives easier through the availability of Cedar Direct. This webinar will be divided into 3 sections. In the first section, we will discuss what Cedar Direct is, why we believe you should use Cedar Direct, who our users are, and the forms available in Cedar Direct. In the second part of the webinar, we will perform a live demo and show you how to use Cedar Direct and create a product listing SPL. Finally, we will discuss some frequently asked questions that we feel will assist you during the product listing process. So what is Cedar Direct? It is a web-based electronic registration and listing submissions tool. This application was designed and works best with Internet Explorer 8 and above, Firefox version 28, and Chrome. And we are currently working to expand to other browsers. It allows users to create and submit SPL files to the FDA. SPL files currently are the only type of files that FDA accepts. Additional functionality that it offers includes a user-friendly data entry form style. It allows the user to create, review, edit, and save SPL submissions. It allows you to submit to FDA directly for internal processing. There are no digital certificates or ESG WebTrader accounts needed. It performs initial validations for you and also provides an FDA response to the user. Why Cedar Direct? Thousands of small firms don't have IT departments or IT specialists, and I imagine that many of you are in similar situations. As a result, many of these small companies assign non-technical individuals such as doctors, pharmacists, or new hires to maintain and create WebTrader accounts and digital certificates to submit SPLs. As a result, as many of you have already experienced, the technical hurdles are oftentimes too high, and they are forced to hire consultants who have already figured out the process to meet regulatory deadlines. While great for the consultants, it is not good customer service for the FDA. FDA X forms, while successful, is not user-friendly and can be very intimidating. So again, why Cedar Direct? It offers a more direct data entry form style of interface, more help text available when populating the fields, and many validation error messages have been reworded to be more descriptive when you are having issues when submitting a form. It allows the users to store SPL submissions within individual accounts. It offers a submission status when you submit an SPL, so you will know when an SPL has made it through both the ESG and SPL validation. Additionally, a user will no longer have to wait and see if they receive the second notification in WebTrader to know if something has gone through. Finally, it is important to note that Cedar Direct will not replace Xforms. FDA accepts any authoring tool, and Cedar Direct is just another option for you. This slide outlines who our Cedar Direct users are. Cedar Direct is available to individuals with the following SPL responsibilities: submitting NDC labeler code requests, submitting establishment registrations and annual updates, submitting GDUFA's facility self-identification, submitting product listing, submitting 503B outsourcing facility registration and product reporting, and finally submitting wholesale drug distributors and third-party logistics registration. This slide highlights available SPL forms: labeler code request, establishment registration and annual updates, human prescription drug label, human OTC drug label, GDUFA self-identification, and 503B outsourcing, facility registration, and product reporting. We are looking into future expansion for other submissions in the near future. We will now transition into part 2 of this webinar. In the second part, I will be performing a demo for you in a test environment and show you how to submit a product listing SPL to FDA using Cedar Direct. So now let us go into the application. The page that you see on the screen is the Cedar Direct login page. If you are creating a new account, under Quick Links, click on Create an Account and fill out all of the necessary organizational and contact information. At the bottom of the screen, you will select the type of forms that you would like to access to. For purposes of this demo, and if you will be submitting a product listing, you will select on the product type that you will be submitting. After clicking Submit, you will receive an email with instructions on how to activate the account. I already have an account created for purposes of this webinar, so I will not have to go through this process of creating an account. As an aside, after you create an account and log in for the first time, you should go to the Manage Account box and click Edit User Profile. After doing so, confirm the contact and organization information as well as the forms that you think you will need to use when using Cedar Direct. Cedar Direct homepage as a default shows all submissions you have sent or saved, regardless of whether it was submitted or have been saved as a draft. You have some of the basic data elements here, such as the status, set ID, the root ID, and version number. For now, I'm going to show you how to submit a product listing SPL. To create a product listing, under the Submissions box, click Product Listing and Reporting. After clicking on the Product Listing and Reporting link, the page shown shows all of the product listings that I have drafted in the past. I will create a new one by clicking on the Create New button. You have the option to create a new product report from a blank form or import an existing product listing SPL that you have saved to your computer. For purposes of this presentation, we will create a new listing from a blank form. For the purpose of this tutorial, we will create a drug listing for a human OTC drug. Once you click on Create New Product Listing, a drop-down menu will appear. From the drop-down menu, select Human OTC Drug Label. Select Continue. As a general comment on usability, clicking on any underlined label in the SPL will provide you with help text. So for example, clicking on Set ID, you will be provided with the definition of the term. Any field with a red asterisk is a required value. On the bottom of the page are helpful links to assist you. The tutorials link provides you with useful documents and tutorials. At any time, you can save a draft and return to the home screen and continue where you left off at a later time. Finally, it is not recommended to use the back button on your browser. Instead, use the Cedar Direct buttons to navigate. Under Header Details, the set ID is what the FDA uses to link submissions for an establishment or listing over time. The root ID, also known as document ID, is unique for a submission. For new submissions, the version number defaults to 1. Since this is a new form, I will leave the header detail information that the application has provided. Under Labeler Details, enter the business name of the labeler provided in the NDC Labeler Code Request SBL file. Also enter the DUNS number provided in the NDC Labeler Code Request SBL file. Next, enter the registrant details. Enter the registrant information if you are listing a drug made for a private label distributor. Next, to add an establishment, click on Add Establishment and enter the name of the establishment and DUNS number. Next, enter the business operation and enter the product NDC of the product you are listing. Please note that any referenced establishment must be a currently registered facility with the FDA. Once you have all your information added, click on Save Establishment. You can add multiple establishments for a product. Next, to enter product information, click on Add Product. Under Product Data Elements, enter the NDC product code. The NDC is the official FDA 10-digit 3-segment number assigned to all drug products. The NDC product code is the first 2 segments of the NDC. It is the 5-digit NDC labeler code assigned to the company whose name is on the label, and the 3 or 4-digit product code segment of the NDC identifying the formulation and dosage form separated by a hyphen. Before entering the NDC product code, make sure the leading 0 added to any segment to create the 11-digit version has been removed. Next, enter the proprietary name. For drug products that do not have a proprietary name, enter the non-proprietary name or generic name without additional qualifiers as the proprietary name. Next, the proprietary name suffix is any additional qualifying information added to the proprietary name, such as XR, PM, or extra strength. The non-proprietary name is known as the established name or generic name. It is the active ingredients in the product separated by commas. Next, enter the DEA schedule. The DEA schedule is a classification code assigned by the Drug Enforcement Agency to products containing controlled substances such as narcotics. If applicable, select from the drop-down list the appropriate DEA schedule for the drug product. If the product does not contain a controlled substance, leave blank. For dosage form, I will select tablet. If the product has multiple more than one drug component, this is where you will select Kit. Next, select the route of administration approved for the drug product from the list. I will select oral for tablets. Once you have selected, move it over to the right column. The source NDC product code is used when a marketed drug product is repackaged or relabeled. Under Marketing Details, enter the marketing status of the product. The marketing status indicates whether a product is currently in commercial distribution. If active, select the appropriate start marketing date of when the product first entered commercial distribution. Future dates are allowed for listing ahead of launch. If completed, select the appropriate marketing end date of when the product is expected to be out of commercial distribution. Future dates are allowed, and often the marketing end date is the expiration date of the product's last lot released to the marketplace. For this product, I will select Active. Next, select the appropriate marketing category for the drug product. For marketing category, I will select OTC Monograph Final. Next, enter the application number or the monograph citation of the drug product being listed. Since my marketing category is OTC Monograph Final, I will enter Part 341, referring to the citation from the Code of Federal Regulations for the monograph. Next, click on Add Ingredient to add any active or inactive ingredient. Under Ingredient Details, enter the denominator strength. Strength is represented as a ratio. The numerator and denominator have a value and a unit. The value is the amount of ingredient for a dose, usually a whole number, based on either the active ingredient, active moiety, or in rare cases, another drug product. From the drop-down list, select whether the active ingredient, active moiety, or reference drug was used as the basis of strength for the drug to list an active ingredient. Select Inactive Ingredient to add any inactive ingredient. For this presentation, we will click on Active Ingredient. Ingredient is basis of strength. Next, enter the unique ingredient identifier and preferred substance name for this ingredient. Enter the strength and the unit of measure. If the active moiety is the same as the ingredient name, click on the checkbox here. If the active moiety is different, you can enter the information here. And if you have any additional active moiety, you can click on the Add Active Moiety. Once you have all your product ingredient details entered, click on Save Ingredient. Next, upload a JPEG file of the product image. Click on Upload Image once you have selected your image. Next, click on Add Characteristic. Since my dosage form is in a solid form, 4 characteristics must be included: color, shape, score, and size. First, we will enter the color. Next, the shape. Our third characteristics will be score. If the product has no score, select 1. Scoring with 2 equal pieces will be 2. Scoring with 3 equal pieces will be 3. And scoring with 4 equal pieces or more will be 4 or other. Our next characteristic will be size. Size is represented by the longest single dimension of the solid dosage form as a physical quantity in the dimension of length. Next, we will enter the package information. Under the innermost level, enter the package type. The quantity and the unit of measure. To add an outer package, click on Add Outer Package. For outer package, the package NDC is required. The package type, the quantity and unit of measure. Click on Save Package once you have entered all your package information. Next, click on Save Product once you have all your product information added. The final step to complete your product listing is to add the content of labeling. Click on Add Content of Labeling. All images that appear in the content of labeling sections, including the principal display panels, front and back of the packaging, must be uploaded into Cedar Direct before they can be used within the application. Once the image is uploaded, you have the ability to use it in any section. To add content of labeling, click on Add Section. For this demo, we will go ahead and upload the principal display panel for Wonder Drug. After clicking on Browse and selecting the file from the file system, select Upload to load the file into Cedar Direct. After uploading the file, you will see the image added to the available images list. In the Content of Labeling section, select the picture icon on the toolbar and choose the desired image. Please note that the label image that I'm about to download is not an acceptable label. It was created just for purposes of this tutorial. Parent section is used to add a section as a child of a parent. This allows you to create associations between content of labeling sections. Sequence is used to determine the order of the sections. Sequence numbers are automatically generated when you add a new section, but can be changed by the user. An example is that if you forgot to add a section to the label, you do not have to delete all of the sections. You can simply change the sequence number to move the new section to the desired location. At this point, you can click on the Save as Draft button and come back later, or if you think the submission is ready, you can click on the Submit SBL button. For purposes of this demo, we will submit the SBL. Here we are at the submission screen. You will notice that the submission we submitted says awaiting acceptance in the status field. An email will be sent to the contact email of the account indicating the status change. If there are any validation errors, such as this example here, the status will say submission failed. If it successfully passes, this screen will be updated and the status will show submission accepted as in this example. If you are updating a product listing and need to make changes, you can open a previously submitted SBL for that listing. If the previous listing was submitted using Cedar Direct, the fields are automatically changed for you. This concludes the demonstration of Cedar Direct. We will now go through a list of commonly asked questions that we feel will assist you during the product listing process. Do I need a WebTrader account with Cedar Direct? Cedar Direct submissions are directly submitted for internal processing. No WebTrader account is needed. Is there a fee to use Cedar Direct? There are no fees to utilize the FDA's Cedar Direct electronic submissions portal. What are the advantages of using SBL? SBL employs accepted data standards and takes advantage of FDA's existing infrastructure. Additionally, SBL provides more efficient quality control of the incoming data. Is there a fee to register and list? There are no fees associated with electronic labeler code request, registering or listing with FDA, or maintaining and updating this information. What tools are available to create an SBL file? Facilities have the option to choose from multiple SBL authoring tools to create and submit a product listing, including FDA's Cedar Direct. What is the Java or system requirement to use Cedar Direct? Cedar Direct application was designed for and works best with Internet Explorer 8 or above, Firefox version 28 or above, and Chrome, or Java and/or JavaScript is not required for Cedar Direct. Can I import existing registration and listing SBL files into these new forms? Yes, you can import existing SBL and make any changes if needed and submit. What is a dashboard and where is it located in Cedar Direct? The dashboard contains all the submissions you have made with Cedar Direct. It is the opening page upon login. I have a labeler code that I obtained many years ago through the paper application. I am now trying to apply through the online system, and I am hoping to get the same number. Can I use this labeler code? Yes, the firm can use the same code that was assigned via paper format. To activate this labeler code in our electronic system, they must submit a labeler code request SBL with the assigned number to confirm the assignment and complete the process. This concludes our Cedar Direct webinar. I encourage you to log on to Cedar Direct at direct.fda.gov and use this application when submitting product listing information to FDA. As a reminder, Cedar Direct application is only compatible with Internet Explorer 8 and above, Firefox version 28 or above, and Chrome. We are currently working to expand to other browsers. If you need any assistance with completing and submitting your SBL using Cedar Direct, you can contact our Cedar Direct help desk at cderdirect@fda.hhs.gov. Thank you for attending this webinar, and we hope that it is useful as you navigate through the listing process.
Thank you, Ms. Huber. This concludes today's presentation. If you have further questions about today's webinar, please send them to edrls@fda.hhs.gov. And again, this webinar is posted on www.fda.gov/CDER/SBIA under Workshops and Webinars. On behalf of Cedar Small Business and Industry Assistance, we hope that you enjoyed today's presentation and found it helpful. We look forward to your presence at future webinars, which will be advertised on our website at www.fda.gov/CDER/SBIA.